Welcome to the Lumenverse. Before we begin, are you listening to this while it's raining, or is it sunny where you are? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoy our stories, please remember to like and subscribe. Now, let's begin. The tranquility of the night embraced the quaint mountain village of Myris Hollow, enveloping everything in a soothing stillness. Lanterns cast a warm, flickering light, their golden and honey-hued radiance softly illuminating the cobblestone streets. A thin veil of mist hung delicately in the air, gently softening the outlines of rooftops and gardens, creating a sense of cozy enchantment. At the edge of the village, where the road sloped toward the forest, an old stone cottage stood steadfast, the warm glow of its windows beckoning through the darkness. The stillness of the night enveloped the quaint mountain village of Myris Hollow. Lanterns cast a warm golden glow onto the cobblestone streets, the flickering lights dancing in shades of honey and gold. A thin veil of mist gently hovered in the air, delicately softening the edges of the peaked rooftops, the winding streets, and the small gardens, their blankets of dew making them appear like small, slumbering mounds. On the outskirts of the village, where the road curved toward the forest, stood an aged stone cottage. The windows glimmered softly, emitting a gentle aura. Eldrin, the ever-dependable lantern keeper, tended to the enchanted lanterns of Myris Hollow, illuminating the roads and keeping away the darkness and its hidden dwellers. Night, however, he had an unexpected guest, Lyra, a young traveler adorned with a patchwork cloak, her boots still bearing traces of the late evening's rain. Her eyes gleamed with a curiosity typical of someone encountering this tranquil mountain village for the first time. Lyra's puzzled expression gave way to intrigue as Eldrin carefully retrieved a small shimmering object from a wooden box on the mantel. The crystal shard, no larger than his thumb, emitted a gentle blue light. "This," Eldrin began, holding the glowing object gently, "is a light seed. Without it, our enchanted lanterns lose their illuminant power. When this happens, the forest gradually forgets about the people who reside here." Curiosity sparked in Lyra's eyes. "Forget?" she echoed. As the rain tapped at the windows, Lyra listened intently to Eldrin's tale. The plan for the night was clear. They would embark on a lantern path, replacing lightseed crystals and uttering ancient blessings beneath the moonlit sky. The thought of witnessing the forest's elusive inhabitants added a touch of excitement, intertwining with anticipation. A shiver ran down Lyra's spine, although it remained unclear whether it was due to adrenaline or the ambient chill in the air. With a firm nod, she answered, "Yes." The lanterns cast a soft, golden glow, illuminating the path and the surrounding moss with a delicate brilliance. The wispy mist embraced the surroundings, gently caressing every surface and creating the impression that time itself had slowed, encouraging an unhurried pace. The rhythmic pitter-patter of rain began, initially hesitant, then growing more consistent. The sound harmoniously merged with the rustling leaves, the sighing branches, and the faint burbling of a nearby creek, melding into a soothing symphony that lulled the senses. At an aging sign, the woods slightly worn by both sun and rain, two options beckoned, Moonpetal Hollow or the Silverleaf Inn, both promising respite. The scent of wood smoke wafted gently in the air, coming from the direction of the latter. As you chose the path to the Silverleaf Inn, droplets of rain cascaded through gaps in the leaves, cooling your skin with each kiss. The sound of rain magnified, enveloping you entirely with its gentle, lulling presence, reminiscent of a soft auditory embrace. As you made your way toward the inn, the silhouette of a cozy building emerged, shielded by the graceful canopy of an ancient willow tree. The branches danced rhythmically, swaying like a lulling melody. The lantern light cascaded across the rain-soaked stones, causing the puddles to glimmer with a golden brilliance. Within the inn, the air carried the comforting scent of fresh bread and herbal tea, and the fireplace crackled with warm glowing logs. The innkeeper, with her silvery tresses and an autumn-hued shawl, welcomed your arrival with a warm smile that invoked a sense of belonging. You allowed yourself to bask in the comforting warmth, savoring each sip of the lavender-honeyed tea. The inn was hushed, with only subtle creaks of wood and the gentle rustle of the willow tree outside, hinting at the passage of time. Your gaze wandered to a quaint corner where a collection of well-worn, leather-bound books occupied a small shelf. Though the spines were worn, the presence of the books exuded a sense of comfort, as if each one held memories of travelers who had sought refuge there before. Your fingers delicately grazed over the spines until they settled upon a deep blue tome speck. You returned to the table, the scent of aged paper mingling with the sweet and soothing vapor of the lavender tea. The words upon the page seemed to float effortlessly through your mind rather than demanding intense focus, and the tales whispered of faraway lands and gentle heroes set to light by lantern. Before long, the book rested gently in your lap as your eyelids gradually began to grow heavy. The innkeeper's voice, a soft whisper, gently broke the tranquil atmosphere. "Your room is ready," she murmured. "Follow me when you're ready, dear." The corridor stretching beyond the warm hearth was enveloped in a delicate dimness, the only source of illumination being the faint, amber-tinted light emanating from the small wall lanterns. The innkeeper led the way to a door at the end of the hall, its surface meticulously carved with a serene depiction of a moon. Inside, the room exuded an air of cleanliness and comfort, the scent of pine wood blending with the crisp, clean scent of linen. Upon the bed, a meticulously stitched quilt lay spread, its deep blue and soft gold hues reminiscent of the night sky. The soothing hum of the innkeeper's song mingled softly with the pitter-patter of the rain, creating a gentle soundscape that echoed throughout the corridors. The warmth of the quilt enveloped you, providing a comforting embrace that grounded you in the present moment. As you lay beneath the cozy duvet, you listened intently to the gentle rhythm of the raindrops, as if echoing the soothing heartbeat of the world outside. And then an unfamiliar sound pierced the quiet. A deep, soft note from an owl drifted through the slightly open window, bringing with it a sense of calm reassurance. A wave of tranquility washed over you, bringing with it a sense of weightlessness, akin to being suspended between sleep and wakefulness. The thoughts that flitted through your mind were like feathers gently alighting on a quiet surface, their presence acknowledged yet not clung upon. The soft glow of the bedside lantern cast a golden light on the wooden walls, causing each shadow to waver and dance like a gentle dance of light and dark. Now a soft drizzle whispered a delicate tune, its sound mingling with the trickling of water along the roof's gutters. Your breathing became synchronized with the comforting rhythm of the sounds pervading the atmosphere, matching their tempo with a steady, unhurried cadence. A solitary candle on the shelf flickered gently, casting a soft, warm glow, its flame dancing gracefully in the subtle draft. Your gaze settled upon the flicker, and your focus sharpened on the mesmerizing dance of the fire, lulling you deeper into a state of ultimate relaxation. The wavering candlelight cast flickering shadows on the wall, resembling distant landscapes moving silently against the dimly lit environment. The occasional creak of the wooden beams overhead joined the silent symphony, as if the very building joined in the soothing lullaby of tranquility. A subtle and lingering scent drifted from the kitchen below, a memory from hours ago when freshly baked loaves of bread had filled the air with a comforting aroma. Though faded, the fragrance lingered, a reminder of the nourishment and warmth that the inn had offered, of a haven where care and security were never lacking. The village was swathed in a gentle silence, the cobbled streets now glistening under the pale glow of moonlight that graced the area. The distant, rhythmic rhythm of a cartwheel turning upon the rain-soaked stones echoed faintly before being consumed by the stillness once more. Your thoughts floated effortlessly as your body sank comfortably into the bed, the weight of the cover providing a steady, reassuring presence akin to a caring friend's steady hand resting on your shoulder. The gentle nighttime breeze drifted through the window, carrying with it the invigorating smell of moist leaves and freshly dampened earthy terrain. The rain had now mellowed into a light, almost imperceptible mist, its soft pitter-patter on the roof sounding like a hushed whisper. Nearby, the soothing trickle of water could be heard slowly making its way toward a small drainage outlet, the steady rhythm acting like a melodic lullaby. In your semi-conscious state, you envisioned the inn as an outside observer might perceive it. Warm, welcoming lights emanating through the windows, and a safe haven for perhaps the inn boasted a separate stable attached to the main building, housing a pair of docile horses that gently swished their tails in contented tranquility with each delicate movement. The aroma of fresh hay permeated the air, blending with the subtle scent of water, reminding all who sought refuge within the inn's walls that life here thrived at a steady and unhurried cadence. As you gently extinguished the lantern on your bedside table, allowing the room to embrace the comforting shroud of shadows, the bed beneath you felt increasingly more accommodating, as if it was gradually contouring itself to the unique shape of your body. With each drawn breath, the weight of your body seemed to increase, causing your fingers to relax and your arms to sink deeper into the embrace of the comfortable mattress. The muscles of your face became increasingly relaxed as the tension in your face gave way to a look of complete relaxation. Your mind began to wander, transported to the scene before your arrival at the inn. The memory of strolling along a tranquil lane in the late afternoon, illuminated by the slowly setting sun that cast a warm glow across the skies, danced through your thoughts. The delicate fragrance of flowers, with a scent that escaped your recollection, wafted gently in the distance. The sight of the inn materialized, its warm and welcoming aura exuding from the brightly lit lanterns that adorned its exterior. The memory of the inn's door gliding open with a faint creak, followed by the warm embrace of the inn's air, enveloped you once again. Now, in this tranquil inn, you relished in the safety it provided, wrapped in cozy solitude. A deep-seated contentment settled within you, and a sense of profound stillness took hold. Time seemed to lose its relevance as the quiet intensified. The flickering flame of the candle, now reduced to a small, steadfast, you listened to the distant toll of a bell. It may have been from the clock tower in the village center. Its note hung in the night air, gradually fading as the sound dissipated. The tolling of the bell did not signal any urgent or pressing matter. It was merely a gentle reminder of the natural rhythm of time in this place, where the need to meticulously track time became an antiquated concept. Your breathing had slowed, harmoniously synchronizing with the tranquil tempo of the night. Each inhale was deep and measured, followed by slow and even exhales. The rain continued its serene serenade, gently tapping against the windows of the cozy Silverwood Inn. The lantern's soft glow danced upon the puddles gathered on the ground outside, the rippling effect almost reminiscent of golden coins floating on water. Ilara sat nestled in a sumptuously plush chair, her gaze fixated on the mesmerizing spectacle created by the dancing flames. Across from her, the old sorcerer known as Master Thalin engaged in a simple yet meditative activity, diligently carving symbols into a piece of driftwood, a souvenir he had discovered during a recent stroll down the shore. The old sorcerer, Master Thalin, delicately carved runes into the driftwood, his murmurs carrying a hint of wisdom. The words, runes of safe passage, were spoken softly, as if in dialogue with the very wood itself. Rowan, the young warrior, stood against the far wall, cradling a steaming cup of spiced tea in his hands. He quietly inquired, "Do you believe that come morning the roads will be passable?" Thalen took a moment, blowing away the wooden shavings before replying, "If the rain permits it, yes. But sometimes the road should wait for." Ilara's smile widened, appreciating the charm of the notion that the world might slow down, even briefly, to allow time for respite and tranquility. A small black and white cat, evidently the inn's resident, leaped onto Ilara's lap and nestled there, its soft fur and comforting weight lulling her into a state of further relaxation. Master Thalen's voice pierced the cozy ambience, carrying with it the steady authority of one who had witnessed numerous storms. He began to weave a tale. Long ago, in a place not so different from this one, with each word, Master Thalen's voice spun a web of tales, each one more intriguing than the last. He spoke with such a tranquil cadence, it was as if the very syllables carried whispers of dreams. The room fell under a spell, and the rain on the windows took on a magical rhythm, each drop a small note in the orchestra. Minutes passed, unnoticed and unheeded. The cups of tea sat untouched, their steam rising into the air like the whispers of the fire, now reduced to a soft glow. When Master Thalin concluded his intricate tale, Rowan's eyes grew heavy, and his gaze wandered in a dreamy manner. Ilara, now with her head comfortably resting against the back of her chair, breathed deeply and evenly. The night enveloped the inn in a peaceful embrace, the steady pitter-patter of the rain acting as a soothing lullaby. It felt as if time had lost its relevance within this quaint haven. The outside world could wait, and for the moment, they were content to remain within the sanctuary of the inn's warm walls. The path continued to weave its labyrinthine course through the depths of the vale. The trees stood closer together now, their tangled roots resembling a gathering of aged hands clasped in friendship. The air was significantly cooler here, and the mist, as if birthed from the very breath of the land itself, danced gently as it swirled between the trees. The lantern held by Leora cast a soft, warm glow ahead, its light catching each droplet of mist, causing them to shimmer in an array of beautiful colors. They paused upon reaching a stone bridge, its surface etched with age and adorned with the lush green moss. The rhythmic whisper of the silver stream, flowing smoothly over smooth stones, blended harmoniously with the soft patter of falling rain. Elendor gently placed his hand on the railing, his eyes closing as he spoke softly. This bridge has endured for centuries, long predating the kingdom of Aurelia. It has witnessed far more footsteps than we could ever hope to count. Leora leaned over the bridge, her gaze fixed on the shimmering waters below. With a soft voice, she inquired, "Do you think this bridge remembers everyone who crossed it?" Elendor pondered her question before replying, "I believe it does, not just their footsteps, but their stories too." They remained there for a moment, ensconced in the gentle tranquility bestowed upon them by the bridge. Meanwhile, past the ancient bridge, they ventured into the enchanting grove of wishing leaves, a place where, as evening descended, delicate golden leaves silently glided to the ground, leaving behind a trail of fleeting. Leora delicately reached out, gently capturing a falling golden leaf in her hand. She closed her eyes, made a silent wish, and upon opening her hand, the leaf dissolved, leaving an ephemeral glow behind. They continued on their way, treading silently, until they reached a small clearing illuminated by the ancient oak standing majestically at its center. Elendor laid a soft blanket on the ground, and they settled under the protective branches of the old tree. Here, the forest spread out like a vast darkened ocean, now veiled beneath a misty silvery night sky. Somewhere deep within the distance, a nightbird's melodic tune echoed softly, gently spiraling throughout the forest. The cozy crackle of the fire joined the soothing pitter-patter of the rain, blending harmoniously to create a symphony that lulled the weary minds and soothed the souls both of the listeners and the nightbird. Time slipped by as they stayed, witnessing the forest's slow-breathing motions, observing the drifting clouds, and reveling in the certainty that at this very moment, everything was perfect and in its proper place. As night settled further, the air grew cooler, a refreshing relief from the day's humidity. The sky, now a canvas of deep blue, was adorned with stars that twinkled brightly like delicate lanterns dancing in the darkness. Leora was now situated at the water's edge, seated comfortably atop a bed of soft, mossy plushness. Her lantern cast a comforting glow, painting a warm, comforting circle that illuminated the immediate surroundings. The sounds of rain and small ripples on the lakeside created a soothing melodic rhythm as fish occasionally emerged from the inky blackness, momentarily catching the silver light of the moon before disappearing into the. Leora inhaled deeply, closing her eyes as the rain gently cascaded across her skin, rinsing away the day's stress. Every single drop of rain was a note in a soothing symphony, a melodic composition that had been echoing through time immemorial, whispered by the very clouds themselves. In the background, Arendor was tending the fire lit solely to create a scene that resembled tiny fireflies dancing in the falling rain, casting sparks into the air. The crackling of firewood as raindrops touched it filled the air, releasing the soft, calming fragrance of cedarwood. The world seemed to hold its breath, as if time itself paused for a moment. The trees, although gently swayed, held their leaves aloft with a delicate balance that allowed each one to catch and hold a perfect tear of rain. The resulting reflection of the lantern light, mirrored in the droplets, created an array of shimmering lights that seemed to pulse and dance just beneath the surface. From the far depths of the forest, a low, distant call echoed softly and unhurriedly, as if even the animals recognized that this moment should remain undisturbed. Leora pondered the road that lay ahead and the age-old promise they had pledged themselves to uphold. But here, in this moment, all urgency seemed to subside. The road and the world could wait. All that mattered, for now, was the soothing lull of the rain, the comfort of companionship, and the eternal beauty of the night that seemed to stretch on forever. From across the placid waters, a faint melodious chime broke through the ambient hush of the surrounding atmosphere. Neither of them could pinpoint the source of this silvery sound, yet the lingering note hung in the air, like a whisper carried forth by an unseen breeze. Arendor glanced up, his face adorned with a slight smile. "Can you hear it?" he inquired, his voice barely above the ambient quiet. Leora nodded softly, her voice just as soft. "Yes," she replied, her eyes taking in the misty scene before them. The mist gracefully floated over the lake, its soft tendrils creating delicate and slender ribbons that caressed the surface of the water. Leora leaned back, her body relaxing upon the soft, comfortable plushness of the moss beneath her. The lantern, now placed nearby, emitted a steady flame, its light softly flickering in response to the gentle breeze that occasionally stirred the air. The heavenly entities above appeared closer than ever, filling the night sky with a breathtaking display, as if a celestial canopy had descended, drawing the stars ever nearer to Earth. Leora closed her eyes, her body completely relaxed as she surrendered herself to Arendor's soft, steady voice. It was as if each word he spoke was a gentle caress, a soothing balm for her weary soul. He was narrating a mesmerizing tale of the legendary Star Bridge, a pathway of pure light that lay hidden from ordinary eyes, only to manifest itself to those who walked with an open and tranquil heart. The silence, momentarily broken by the crackling of the fire, quickly returned to its cozy embrace. The comforting scent of damp earth, mingling with the fragrance of blossoming night blossoms, filled the space, carrying with it occasional croaks from frogs, their calls reverberating in a peaceful dialogue, as if they were engaged in a slow and languid conversation. Arendor's words continued to flow, echoing in the tranquil night, while Leora's smile remained unwavering, her eyes still gently closed. In that moment, the path held no allure as the night itself held them in its comforting grasp. A gentle breeze, filled with the faint fragrance of rain-kissed pine, caressed their surroundings. The mist lazily unraveled, revealing the faint outline of distant mountains, their peaks gleaming silver under the soft illumination of the moon. The landscape took on a serene, almost dreamlike aura, as if it had been meticulously painted by unseen hands. The once steady rhythm of the rain transformed to a gentle pitter-patter, the drops now light and caressing, the sound of a single drop striking the moss, barely perceptible in the stillness. Arendor's voice, soft and blending with the natural elements, continued to weave its soothing tale. The lantern's gentle glow dimmed, less from the flame fading, and more because their weary eyes, heavy with the weight of sleep, allowed the encroaching darkness to grow. They rested in the tranquil space between consciousness and dreams, where the world still held a watchful presence, every tree a steadfast guardian, and each ripple on the surface of the water a silent promise of peace. In this hushed moment, time lost its relevance as the future, the road ahead, faded away. As the night deepened, Arendor's soothing tale wove together with the rhythmic sounds of the surrounding forest, lulling Leora and him deeper into a liminal space where time seemed to have little significance. They remained there, in the comforting embrace of the moment, wrapped in the stillness of the night. As they surrendered to the gentle pull of sleep, the only sound in this moment was the occasional call of nocturnal creatures, and the soft whisper of the night breeze as it stirred the leaves of the trees. Leora's eyes fluttered, the weight of sleep slowly beginning to overpower her, her thoughts dissolving into a hazy dreamlike state. The faint sound of her breathing mingled with the rhythmic croaks of the frogs, creating a lullaby of the forest's nocturnal inhabitants. In her state of half-consciousness, she felt the ground shift as Arendor moved closer to her, his body heat radiating warmth in the cool night air. Arendor's movements drew him closer, his presence a comforting presence in the darkness. Leora felt the ground beneath her shift as he settled into the soft embrace of the moss, their bodies now almost touching. The night continued to hold them in its gentle clutch, as if the world itself were unwilling to break the delicate spell of quietude that had settled over them. Arendor's hand, seeking comfort, reached out and brushed against Leora's, their fingers gently intertwined, the subtle touch creating a connection that seemed to transcend the physical realm. The night drew on, the silence only occasionally broken by the soft rustle of leaves as the breeze passed through the trees. Leora's head gently nestled against Arendor's arm, their bodies now close enough that they could feel the steady rhythm of each other's breath. Their bodies now lay closer, their limbs gently tangled in a moment of quiet intimacy. Leora's head rested comfortably against Arendor's arm, her hair a silken drape across his skin. Silence enveloped them like a warm embrace, the only sound being their steady breaths, a quiet and soothing lullaby that intertwined with the sounds of the night. With every moment that passed, the world around them seemed to recede further away, as if time itself had forgotten them in this tranquil moment. The steady rhythm of their breathing, in unison with the gentle night breeze, became a soothing symphony, a testament to their intimate bond. Arendor's body shifted slightly, his arm encircling Leora's waist, pulling her closer in an almost protective gesture. They were now pressed against each other, the warmth radiating between them blending with the cool night air to create a cocoon of comfort and security. Leora closed her eyes, surrendering herself entirely to the tranquility of the moment. She felt Arendor's arm tighten ever so slightly around her waist, pulling her even closer, until their bodies were perfectly aligned. The warmth of his breath danced across her cheek, a tender reminder of his proximity. Her fingers gently traced gentle patterns across his chest, almost as if by instinct, a silent language they both understood without words. Lost in the moment, Leora's fingers continued their gentle exploration of Arendor's chest, as if tracing invisible patterns only they could decipher. Her fingertips brushed delicately against his clothes, gently caressing him with a tenderness that was both soothing and electrifying. Arendor's grip on her waist only tightened, his hand finding itself a home against the small of her back. With every breath, they moved closer, their forms fitting together like two pieces of a puzzle, perfectly intertwined in this stolen moment. As the night continued to envelop them in its gentle embrace, Leora felt Arendor's heart beat against her, a steady rhythm that echoed the pace of his breath. Their bodies were pressed together, every curve and contour molded to one another, a seamless fusion of flesh and heat. His hand, still resting possessively against the small of her back, held her closer, as if every inch of distance between them was an unacceptable chasm. Leora's fingers continued their subtle ministrations on his chest, tracing lazy circles that seemed to synchronize with the rise and fall of his diaphragm. In the intimate silence that enveloped them, Leora's fingers continued to paint tender patterns on Arendor's chest, their touch a silent testament to the quiet understanding that existed between them. The world seemed to fade away as they moved together in gentle synchronization, their bodies fitting like pieces of a puzzle, each muscle, bone, and curve finding its perfect match. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, their breathing synchronized, their hearts beating in rhythm. In those moments, time held no control to them. Welcome to Lumenverse, where tranquil fantasy lullabies find home, free from distractions or commercials. Tonight, we weave a peaceful tale of a misty forest, where compassion wields profound power, and dreams echo in the soft whispers of streams. May your tranquil journey resonate, and if you find joy in this tale, don't forget to subscribe and visit again for soothing narratives to guide you into dreamscapes. Comfortably settle in, let the day fade away, and allow the story to envelop you in its warmth. Long ago, within a forgotten corner of the expansive realm, embraced by mist-cloaked hills and hushed glades, there existed a tranquil haven known as the Whispering Hollow. This secret retreat was seldom charted on cartographic maps, for discovering it seldom resulted from conscious efforts. The hollow didn't clamor for attention. Instead, it patiently awaited the arrival of weary souls, offering solace to those who stumbled upon its concealed existence. In this secluded valley, in one moss-encrusted cottage draped with ivy curtains, dwelled Neva, a kind-hearted soul whose presence often sparked assumptions of mystical talents. Tether, an oversized white moth with wings as silent as shadows, fluttered faithfully behind her like a delicate silhouette of silk. Tether had materialized on Neva's doorstep one evening and remained ever since, finding refuge in her presence. Sensing a kindred spirit, Neva never questioned the reason behind Tether's arrival, leaving the mystery to unfold as it would. One morning, a peculiar hum, akin to an intangible lullaby carried on misty wings, stirred Neva from her slumber. Such inexplicable occurrences like streams that flowed backwards, and trees that bloomed in the darkest hours, weren't uncommon in the Whispering Hollow. Neva ventured through dew-spangled meadows and delved into a shadowy grove that housed an ancient and fractured stone ring. Its haunting presence whispered with an otherworldly hum, its significance lost in time. Drawing closer, she paused to murmur, "What do you need?" In return, a gentle warmth enveloped her, emanating from the stone, a warmth reminiscent of firelight embraced within one's hands. That very night, a peculiar storm approached, not brought on by raging winds or cascading rain, but rather a hushed stillness encompassing both sentient and inanimate beings. Upon awakening the following day, an unusual knock graced Neva's tranquil abode. Such occurrences were uncommon in the Whispering Hollow, as visits seldom graced their hidden corner of the world. As an unexpected young traveler stood at her doorstep clad in woolen garments, his weary gaze and voice reminiscent of cascading leaves, he gently announced, "I believe I'm lost." Neva, unhesitating, replied, "You're precisely where you're meant to be," opening the door wider to welcome him into her home. In Kalen's dreams that very night, the stone ring featured prominently, emanating a luminous glow that unveiled fleeting portals, akin to ethereal pages of forgotten tales. Neva appeared within the dream, her words echoing like whispers on a breeze, stating, Each soul bears a story. Move forward, we must remember. Awakening with tears inexplicable, he found Neva standing by the doorstep, her gaze calm and understanding. This scene was not unfamiliar to her, as the Whispering Hollow's profound capacity to listen and listen deeply was a known phenomenon. Gradually, the Whispering Hollow embraced Kalen as if he were a cherished memory, gently encircling him with its magical presence. Under the guidance of Neva, he learned to heed the whispers of the rustling foliage, harvest luminescent herbs, and nurture the ethereal moonflowers that bloomed only in response to joyous laughter. In turn, Tether's delicate presence added a comforting touch, with the moth finding comfort upon Kalen's shoulder, as if silently stating, "You are now an essential part of this place." As the stone ring's hum intensified, both Kalen and Neva approached it, drawn by the spectacle it presented. Within the center of the ring, a pathway materialized, composed of radiant lanterns suspended in the misty air. Glancing at Neva, Kalen inquired, "Should I follow it?" Neva's smile held a touch of melancholic understanding. "It's not about leaving, but rather remembering," she replied, placing a gentle hand upon his chest. "Wherever your path may lead, carry the essence of the Whispering Hollow within your heart." With a steady determination, Callan stepped through the ethereal pathway of lanterns, finding himself transported into the realm of forgotten memories, where fragments of his past converged. He traversed fragments of a lullaby sang by a mother, the echoes of a promise made beside a river, and the lingering sorrow left abandoned on a hillside. Gradually, tranquility enveloped him. Returning to the Whispering Hollow, Kalen found himself a day later, but Neva could sense that his absence spanned a considerably longer period in the outside world. Despite his experiences within the lantern pathway, Kalen remained silent, though there was a noticeable difference in the depth of his gaze. He chose to remain in the Whispering Hollow for some time after, aiding Neva, observing the flourishing garden that radiated with an ethereal glow, and sharing moments of quiet joy when the moonflowers bloomed under her care. One early morning, upon awakening, Neva found the young traveler missing, leaving behind an enigmatic stone ring humming with a gentle glow and a garden that seemed to possess an almost magical aura. The Whispering Hollow is elusive, appearing only to those who most require its solace, and in its presence the wind whispers to the soul, while even the moss beneath your feet seems to exude a soothing warmth. Should you stumble upon an ethereal haven adorned with ivy curtains and steeped in nostalgia, offer a greeting to the kind woman who serves a tea that holds the essence of lost memories. Whisper to her that Tether sends her regards. Time continued to weave its delicate thread, with the Whispering Hollow gracefully transitioning through the seasons. Winter draped the land in a serene and peaceful embrace, and the first buds of spring emerged with a soft and gentle laughter, painting the countryside in a fresh hue of pale green. Neva embraced the simple rhythm of her days, lovingly tending to her garden, stirring honey into her tea, and occasionally finding herself lost in contemplation while gazing upon the faintly glowing stone ring, often pondering the whereabouts of the young traveler, Kalen. Despite the passage of time, Neva's solitude was never fully palpable, for the Whispering Hollow continued to hum softly, maintaining its steadfast presence. Birds flitted through, exchanging tales on the wind, while Tether the moth gracefully swirled within the ambient glow, embodying a whisper come to life with every flutter of its wings. Occasionally, curious children from the distant hills would find their way into the hidden valley, stumbling upon it almost by accident or perhaps fate. Their brief sojourns culminated in their pockets filled with shimmering seeds, and no recollection of how they had wandered into such an elusive place. As the Whispering Hollow lay immersed in the gentle pitter-patter of raindrops, a series of measured knocks on the door shattered the tranquility. Neva opened it with deliberate slowness. Standing at the threshold was a wanderer, neither young nor old, his eyes wise yet kind, his shoulders broad and robust from traversing countless paths, and his cloak clinging to his figure, bearing the traces of faraway lands. Yet, despite all the changes, one thing remained constant, his warm and familiar smile. Kalen, still wrapped in a comforting blanket, broke the tranquility by softly greeting, "Hello, Neva." Neva responded not with words, but with silent actions. He carefully enveloped him in a warm embrace and handed him a steaming mug of tea, a blend that held the essence of a profound sense of belonging. Amidst the backdrop of the falling rain, Kalen found refuge beside the hearth, a comforting glow illuminating the room. Tether quietly perched beside him, while a peaceful silence settled like a soft blanket over their shared space. In the gentle touch of night, Neva and Kalen found themselves seated beneath the vast expanse of stars, their breaths visible in the cool, crisp air. Tiny fireflies danced around them as if they were wandering thoughts, igniting the surroundings in an enchanting display. Kalen's words broke the silence, his voice carrying a sense of understanding. I now comprehend, he uttered softly. Neva looked upon him with eyes that held a soothing gaze, listening intently. The whispering hollow, he continued, it's alive, and it grants people not answers but moments to rediscover themselves. The whispering hollow persevered steadfastly, patiently awaiting all manner of wanderers, dreamers, and seekers who had misplaced something beyond description. It moved without haste, never clamoring for attention, yet its presence could be sensed in the gentle rain, the whispers of the wind, and even within the steady rhythm of a heartbeat. Should one genuinely listen, a spiral garden might manifest before them, with a white moth gently brushing against their shoulder, followed by the warm invitation of tea that resonated with the essence of forgotten memories. As the night lingered, a tranquil silence enveloped the whispering hollow, lulling both Neva and Kalen into a peaceful rest. Kalen dozed off, the comforting aromas of mint and smoke embracing them. Tether, the silent white moth, found solace as well, settling on a pillow with a soft flutter of wings and the quiet lullaby of its own dreams. But, within the realm of the hollow, dreams were quite distinct. In the very core of the whispering hollow, tucked beneath the roots of old elder trees, and among memories of fleeting moments, there existed another garden. Within the mystical confines of the dream world, Neva found herself barefoot upon a gently pulsating soil, surrounded by blossoms that glowed with a soft blue, gold, and purple effulgence. The air felt pleasantly cool, akin to the twilight hours on a mountain summit. A familiar voice, reminiscent of flowing water and the comforting caress of smooth stones, echoed in the atmosphere. Welcome back, the voice said, resonating softly. Upon turning, Neva beheld the essence of the whispering hollow. Though it held no particular shape or form, it felt like a shimmer, a soothing glow. Neva found a comfortable seat on the luminous ground, her voice inquisitive as she posed her query. Why now? Why this dream? The hollow responded gently, its essence woven into the very fabric of the dream's tapestry, because you are whole, and now, it's the opportune moment to begin anew. Neva gazed upward, witnessing the celestial dance of stars that wove tales across the expansive sky. Amidst these cosmic narratives, she discerned glimpses of her own past, of Kalen's youthful curiosity, of sowing the very first seed within this fertile soil. Neva awakened to the gentle caress of sunlight upon her face, and the garden greeted her with a symphony of avian tunes and dewdrop harmonies. Kalen was already diligently engaged in repairing the stone border surrounding a patch of golden squash. Tether leisurely fluttered around the window, a tranquil presence. The tranquility of the landscape seemed unchanged, yet somehow, everything felt different. During breakfast, Neva found herself drawn to confide in Kalen. I dreamt of the hollow last night, she shared quietly. Neva carefully packed 3 warm loaves of bread into her satchel, along with a jar of honey, and penned a simple note. For the next who wanders, you are welcome here. She placed the bundle just beyond the entrance to the spiraling garden, where its gentle embrace welcomed the lost wanderer who would soon approach. Returning to her home, Neva found comfort in the familiar sounds of life, the singing kettle and Kalen's melodious hums as he labored diligently. The passage of days in the whispering hollow adopted a calm rhythm, akin to music, with the soft sound of bread rising at dawn's gentle touch, the gentle clink of tools in Kalen's hands, and Tether's drowsy chirps, fluttering from one window ledge to the next. Neva tended her herbs, her humming blending with ancient lullabies. Just as dusk draped the sky in hues of rose and lavender, Neva found herself standing on the edge of the garden, gazing toward the distant hills. Kalen, his hands wiped clean on a cloth, stepped up beside her. Neva's nod indicated a sense of anticipation. Or something old, a memory perhaps, she murmured. That night, insomnia enveloped both of them, leading them to walk the spiral path armed with lanterns. They progressed purposefully, yet without haste or trepidation, as though reacquainting themselves with a destination they subconsciously recognized. That night, the spiral path ventured deeper than usual, and the moon sat full and bright in the sky. The whispering hollow was alive, its energy almost tangible in the air. As they ventured deeper into the wooded path, they discovered a new grove adorned with luminous lanterns. suspended from willow branches like thoughtful fireflies. Amidst these ethereal lights, an awe-inspiring stone statue stood, featuring a young girl with arms extended, cradling a tiny star in her hands. Neva knelt before the sculpture, brushing away the overgrowth that clung to the stone. Callan read the inscription etched into the base of the statue, "For the keepers of the light." While observing, a lantern detached from the trees, gracefully floating into Neva's open palms. The lantern was carefully positioned near the hearth, its glow casting a mesmerizing array of vibrant hues that carried an aura of nostalgia. Those who sat by it experienced dreams steeped in the essence of ancient gardens, lofty towers, and whispering oceans. Each visitor discovered a quiet place within the hollow, a chair by the fire, a cozy bed woven from moss, a patient ear that offered solace. The whispering hollow expanded, but its essence remained unchanged. Even after Neva and Kalen completed their final journey, their tale lived on, woven into the fabric of the world through stories, wind, and the warm glow of lanterns that hung from the newly grown branches. Whenever a soul yearned for tranquility, the hollow softly spoke, extending a welcoming invitation. "Come home. There's always space for those who seek solace." Years had passed since Kalen and Neva's presence graced the whispering hollow, and their garden had reached the final chapter of its earthly bloom. Amidst the gentle whisper of nightfall, a soft-spoken boy named Thilo appeared at the threshold of the hollow, his hair gleaming golden like a field of wheat, and his eyes mirroring the tranquility of a distant body of water. Carrying nothing but a modest satchel woven from moss and embroidered with shimmering star-like trinkets, Thilo unwittingly stumbled upon the hollow, after being beckoned by its gentle call during his dreams. The whispering hollow greeted Thilo with a palpable sense of recognition, a wordless welcome that echoed through the atmosphere. The familiar lanterns still glimmered in the darkness, their flickering glow bearing a nostalgic touch. Thilo encountered the open spiral path, but made no objection. Taking a moment, he carefully cleared the tangled growth and delicately repaired the ancient wooden sign. The hollow, rest for all who wander. Within the quaint cottage, a tranquil haven unveiled itself. A cozy hearth, an arranged circle of intricately carved chairs, and a lantern beside the window that still harbored traces of warmth. That night, the rain began to cascade softly, akin to the soothing cadence of lullabies. Thilo nestled into the corner chair, enveloped in a quilt adorned with constellations. He ignited the lantern and unveiled an ancient book that had been carefully tucked away in a drawer, exuding aromas of fragrant sage and calming lavender. The pages of the book were filled with stories that unraveled a rich tapestry. The tale of Neva's dreamlike garden, the chronicles of Kalen's forge, where more than mere metals were fashioned, and the legend of the Grove of Lanterns, where memories came to life. Time rolled by like a gentle river, and Philo remained, not out of obligation, but from an abundance of love. Gradually new arrivals appeared, lost souls and dreamers and children who chased after butterflies. Philo offered each one a welcoming cup and stories from the ancient book, never asking for names, unless they felt inclined to divulge them. The hollow didn't require explanations, only the presence of those who sought peace. With each visitor who joined the circle, the hollow grew, embellished with additional seats, cozy beds, and additional quiet sanctuaries beneath the blooming trees. A week unfolded within the realm of the whispering hollow, transitioning from rain to misty mornings and ultimately to soft golden hours. Philo resumed planting seeds, not only for flora but also for intangible emotions, peace, wonder, stillness, and hope. One morning, he caught sight of a novel presence. Near the center of the hollow, where an ancient oak once stood proudly, a sapling had taken root. Distinct from the other trees, it emitted a soft phosphorescent glow even under the sun's golden rays. With gentle steps, Thilo cautiously advanced towards the radiant sapling. Upon reaching out his hand, a harmonious hum enveloped the surroundings, originating from the hollow itself, a melody resurfacing after a long lull. This tree, referred to only in ancient tales, blossomed when the hollow was prepared, when its guardian had kindled sufficient hearts, pacified numerous tempests, and ignited adequate lanterns. Under Thilo's nurturing care, the legendary lantern tree had been successfully rejuvenated. That evening, the lanterns hung from the lantern tree suddenly flickered to life without being ignited, casting mesmerizing light around the hollow. As Thilo observed this phenomenon, the air appeared to shimmer, and from the lanterns, delicate wisps materialized. Through these fleeting images, he beheld fragments of the past, He witnessed Neva's laughter echoing within the garden, Kalen's forge ablaze with purpose, the sight of weary travelers seeking respite amongst comfortable blankets, children frolicking beside a babbling brook, and animals comfortably resting on window ledges. The Whispering Hollow had remembered. As days passed, more weary souls sought solace in the Whispering Hollow, finding themselves in its embrace. A painter who had misplaced the ability to dream, a young baker burdened by a sense of cold, and an aging knight bereft of joy arrived. Hilo greeted them all with open arms, brewing calming tea infused with soothing lavender and mint, meticulously piecing together star-speckled quilts, and extending the circle of chairs who sought solace. Some would remain a fleeting night, while others would take root for a lifetime. Perhaps you ventured into the Whispering Hollow through the realm of dreams, the realm of memory, or perhaps even the rain. No matter how you arrived, the lanterns here were ignited for you, and the rain outside your window sings a soft welcome. So, rest your weary eyes, dear traveler. Inhale the quiet of this place. The stories can wait for another moment. When sunlight once more blankets your windows, the hollow shall remain as always, an unwavering harbor for your weary soul. We shall meet again, in your next tale, within the Lumenverse.